heart on you. Come on. I have set my heart on you, 'cause you have every part of me. I set my heart on you. Come on, y'all. I have set my heart on you, 'cause you have every part of me. I set my heart on you. I have set my heart on you, 'cause you have every part of me. I set my heart on you. I have set my heart on you, 'cause you have every part of me. I set my heart on you. I set my heart on you. Oh, wow. My God, my God, my God. I set my heart on you. I set my heart on you. Everybody say it one more time. I set my heart on you. Jesus. Jesus. I have set my heart on you, 'cause you have. You know, that's a yielded man song. Everybody can't sing that. 'Cause I have set my heart on you, 'cause you have every part of me. I set my heart on you. My God, my God, my God, my God. I set my heart on you. Oh, you can be seated in His presence. I set my heart on you. I set my heart on you. I have set my heart on you, 'cause you have every part of me. Set my heart on you. I have set my heart on you, 'cause you have, my God, every part of me. Set my heart on you. I have every, set my heart, my God, set my heart on you. You have every part of me. Every part of me. Set my heart on you. I have set my heart, yeah. Set my heart on you, 'cause you have every part of me. I set my heart on you. I set my heart on you. Oh, I don't know if you feel that like I do tonight. Set my heart on you. Oh, come on, come on, let's take it up. I feel that in the spirit tonight. Set my heart on you. Come on, let's take it up. I feel this in the spirit tonight. I don't know why. Oh, I have set my heart on you, 'cause you have every part of me. I set my heart on you. I set my heart on you. I have set my heart on you. 'Cause you have every part of me. I set my heart on you. I have set my heart on you. 'Cause you have every part of me. I set my heart on you. I set my heart on you. Oh, yes. You may be seated in his presence. Please turn the monitors all the way up, please. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I'm on 8. I can't go any further. Turn the monitors up. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. More. Thank you, Jesus. Tonight's word, in hearing the conclusion of the whole matter, I want to go to a scripture before I dive into where we're going. I have to read this so that you can get a full understanding of what God wants to say to us tonight. If you would go with me to the book of Hebrews, the 10th chapter. Thank you. Hebrews, the 10th chapter. Hebrews 10, 1 through 10. And I'm going to read this from the Message Bible. Tonight's word is going to be quite heavy. From the Message Bible, it reads, "The old plan was only a hint of the good things in the new plan. Since the old plan, law, wasn't complete in itself, it couldn't complete those who followed it." Did y'all hear that? Since that old law plan wasn't complete in itself, it could not complete those who followed it. No matter how many sacrifices were offered year after year, they never added up to a complete solution. If they had, the worshipers would have gone merely on their way, no longer dragged down by their sins. But instead of removing awareness of sin, when those animal sacrifices were repeated over and over, they actually heightened awareness and guilt. The plain fact is that bull and goat blood can get rid of sin. That is what is meant by this prophecy put in the mouth of Christ. You don't want sacrifices and offerings year after year. You prepare a body for meat for a sacrifice. It's not fragrance and smoke from the altar that whet your appetite. So I said, I'm here to do it your way. Oh God, the way is described in your book. This thing is something, y'all. When he said, You don't want sacrifices and offerings. He was referring to practices according to the old plan when he added, I'm here to do it your way. He set aside the first in order to enact the new plan, God's way, by which we are made fit for God by the once for all sacrifice of Jesus. I want to stop there because the sacrifice of Jesus is the Word being made flesh. Is the Word being made flesh. It's the Word coming and presenting itself as a sacrifice so that it would have the potential to live in the hearts and the minds of everybody. I want to get that down as a foundation first. It said also in the book of Revelation 19 and 10 that the witness of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. The witness of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy, which meaning the way I know that I have a word from God is that Jesus is the spirit of the prophecy. In order for the prophecy to be alive, remember, it can consist of a dead letter, but in order for the prophecy to be something that is alive still in you, in other words, it's still a part of your life. It may have been spoken 10 years ago, but what causes that prophecy to still be alive is the witness of Jesus is the Spirit, which means when I have a word and that word from God is aligned with the scripture, then this becomes the witness that the word came from God. I just said something right there. I just said something right there. That's my witness. Other than that, I don't have a witness. People can make up a lot of stuff to tell you. They can prophesy lies to you. But when they prophesy and they use the word of the Lord, then this becomes the witness. The reason why that word still has a spirit to it. The reason why I can still feel it is because it's backed up by the word, and it's the word of God that's keeping that thing alive. God have mercy, that was something right there. I said it's the word of God that's keeping it alive. That's why it's not shaken by what man says, because the word is what keeps that thing alive. Now watch this. Tonight is going to be awesome. So then he had me to go back to something that I taught also, and brought that thing tonight to the conclusion of the matter. I was studying something called the hermeneutic loop. And I know some of you all that were in my class over a year ago, almost 2 years ago, remember that, the hermeneutic loop. And the hermeneutic loop was designed to be a methodology of how to get to somewhere. Because we know we got a prophecy, but all week we've been talking about how do I get to that prophecy? How do I get it in my life? How do I meet up with it? How does what he said in me becomes a manifestation on the outside of me? Watch this, y'all. So one of the first, I've never seen this like this before, so y'all just bear with me, because I was upstairs tonight just having some real moments, because I'm actually reading the methodology of the hermeneutic loop and seeing it in my own life like manifest itself. Like, oh my God, I mean, pastor can tell you today, right in this room, standing in this same spot, a dream that I've had for more than 20 years came to pass in this room today. Okay, I'm not hearing you, because if you're in this room tonight, it's about to come to pass. You on the grounds where it comes to pass. Oh, I wish I had somebody to hear me right there. I said, you on the grounds where it comes to pass. And I'm talking about a prophecy that's been laden. So if you're in this building and you're watching by internet and it appears that that thing has taken a long time, I'm here to tell you that tonight there's a divine release in it. first thing, the first step toward getting to the prophecy in the hermeneutic loop, and I want you to hear this, was engagement. Engagement. Engagement is an arrangement to do something or go somewhere at a fixed time. So when there is a prophecy that is in order, watch this, there is an engagement that takes place. There is a promise that the Lord makes you. And the promise is not just a frivolous promise. It's a promise because God said this thing in the future at a fixed time is going to marry you. It's going to be permanently a part of your life. It's going to become a lifelong partner of yours. Oh, God, I can't get nobody to say nothing right there. It's going to be a lifelong partner of yours, which means it's not going to depart out of your life. Watch this. The other part of this first phase of the hermeneutic loop is the fact that it is a phenomenon. It is a phenomenon. Watch this. A phenomenon, listen to this. A phenomenon is a fact or a situation that is, watch this, y'all. This thing is powerful. It is a fact or situation that is regarded as something that has happened that should not have ever happened according to the laws of science and the world. In other words, it's not a real prophecy unless God is prophesying something to you that's not supposed to happen. Oh, God. The real prophecy, if you can do it yourself. The real prophecy is, the phenomenon is, this doesn't happen in my family. This doesn't happen to anybody in my family. The phenomenon is, it's not supposed to happen from me based upon where I come from. Who am I talking to right now? It's a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon. Watch this. The engagement and the phenomenon, watch this, is a divine appointment. It's a meeting place, which means at some point you're going to meet up with what God is saying. Oh, y'all sit down. I got to teach this. You're going to meet up with what God is saying. You're going to run into this prophecy. Good Lord have mercy. You ain't got to look for it. It's going to come and find you. Y'all ain't saying nothing right there. I said it's going to come and find you. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. There's something powerful right here. Watch this. It says here, the problem with the word engagement is that it has a twofold meaning. It's the fact that I'm being introduced to something, I'm being promised something, and it's going to be a marriage. But it also means to clash. It means warfare. It means it's not going to come easy. Which means there's going to be a weapon that is going to be formed against it, but it will not prosper. I'm not hearing y'all. See, when you can get it in your mind that my prophecy comes with warfare, then you won't fall out every time the devil do something. Who am I talking to? Because your indication that it's a real prophecy is because I have warfare. I'm not hearing y'all talk back to me right there. I'm not hearing you talk back to me. One definition said it's a dog fight. I'm not hearing y'all. I said one definition said it's a dog fight, which means you can't be wimpy when you're trying to produce a prophecy. Which means you can't be somebody that's always crying on the wayside because something is warring against the prophecy. Tell your neighbor, said, look for the warfare. I said, tell your neighbor, look for the warfare. Come on, tell your neighbor, look for it. Tell them if it's a real prophecy. neighbor, say, look for it. But tell them the weapon is formed, but it will not prosper. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Watch this. Watch this. Now this is gonna get gooder and gooder because watch this. When I'm engaged in something, and this is powerful. When I'm engaged in something, the warfare behind the engagement, this is so powerful. It seals me in the conclusion of the prophecy. I don't know if I just made any sense when I said that. I don't know if I made any sense when I said that. If the enemy got an opportunity to mess with you while you were believing for the prophecy, it just sealed your fate. Okay. Everybody not getting that, so I'm just gonna keep moving with it. I'm gonna keep moving with it. I'm gonna keep moving with it. See, God doesn't. Warfare has to be fair. You don't slap God's children and he don't slap you back. I'm not hearing y'all. You don't mess with God's children and God do nothing. The fact that the enemy has messed with you, the Bible said, for your shame you shall have double. Now God got to give it to you because you withstood the works of the enemy while you were believing God for it. Now he got to give it to you. Tell somebody, he got to give it to me now. Tell somebody, I'm still feeling the effects of this thing. He got to give it to me now. Tell somebody, I'm still encountering warfare behind it. He got to give it to me now. Turn around and touch 3 people and say, you about to get it. Put Brian back on the board. Touch somebody else and say, you about to get it. Somebody better give God a shout right there. Put all the settings back like they were last night. You know the enemy don't want this one. You know the enemy don't want this one. He got to give it to you because when the devil hit me, I was believing God. Oh, y'all, sit down, sit down, sit down. Sit down, sit down. Yeah. When he did what he did, I was believing God. My God. When he attacked me, I was believing God. Watch this. So then the engagement is on 2 levels. The engagement is on 2 levels. The first level is the prophecy. The first level is what he promised. I am to receive what he said. I am to receive what he has promised. But there's a second level to this engagement. The second level to the engagement is called an illicit engagement. E-L-I-C-I-T. E-L-I-C-I-T. Watch this. So the illicit engagement is a drawing out. I heard it, but how do I draw this thing out? Good Lord have mercy. How do I get it out of me and into my life? Oh, I can't get y'all to say nothing right there. How do I? It says to draw out, to extract, which means there's a lot of stuff going on in my life, but I'm being given an opportunity to extract the prophecy out of all that I'm encountering. Watch this. Everybody don't know how to do that. I'm telling you, we not going to shout in 2019 and we not get the prophecy. You got to hear this. You got to hear this. You got to know how to draw that thing out. You got to know how to extract that thing out of your insides provoke it? Watch this. How do I call it forth? Listen, how do I induce it? It's like a pregnancy and the baby won't come. So the illicit engagement gives me permission to induce it. Which means, watch this, it has the potential to keep lingering on. But God has given us the authority tonight to induce the labor and make that thing come. Woo. Jesus. Jesus. Tell somebody it's about to come. So sit down. I'm being given the power to induce labor. Y'all, wait. Because I don't know how they do it now, but my mother used to talk to us about childbirth. And my mother she was having a baby, and she was telling us about, I said, well, why did the doctor say, don't push? She said, the doctor said, don't push because they trying to situate stuff so the baby can come out easy. So she was telling my sister, she said, but when you get in labor, when you get on that table and you feel that pain, when they say don't push, you push anyway. Because you got to push while it's hurting, because the contraction is going to help you release that baby. I'm not hearing y'all. Because see, some of y'all been hurt in the process, but you sitting up somewhere all crawled up when this is the time for you to push. This is the time for you to praise him. This is the time. I'm not hearing y'all. This is how you induce the labor. Lord have mercy. I can't get nobody to say this. Illicit engagement challenges, listen to this, it challenges the understanding of the whole. If I don't have problems with this prophecy, I will never get an understanding of all of what it means. I'm not kidding. Some false stuff got to happen to me while I'm going through this prophecy so that I can have clarity of what it's not. I may not know all of what it is, but I'm given power to understand what it's not. Okay. I'm not this. And okay, this table. So the Lord has given me the prophecy of orange juice. So I'm having problems. And in the midst of the problems, I found out that the orange juice is not tissue. The orange juice is not mint. The orange juice is not frosted mints. It's not an ink pen. The orange juice is not a glass. The orange juice is not a tissue box. Well, how long, Lord, do I have to keep going through this? The orange juice is not water. Watch this, and the orange juice is not some more tissue, just a different kind of devil, but it just looks different, but it's still tissue. And when I get through, the orange juice is not the tablecloth. So when ain't nothing else left, and the devil done did all he can do, ain't nothing left but the clarity of what it really is. I'm not hearing y'all. Who is God talking to right there? Who is God? See, that's the reason why in the midst of it, you got to give God praise, because he's in the process of helping you to extract what it's not, so you know what it is. Who is God talking to? Situations keep helping you to say, that ain't it. Circumstances keep helping you to say, and that ain't it. Watch this. This right here gonna bless your whole life. So then, how do I draw it out? How do I draw it out? Dr. Bynum, I'm talking about being processed to the prophecy, and I got to get to it this year. I can't. I'm not hearing y'all. I got to get to it this year. I got to get to not another fast, and I still don't have it. Because that's what he was talking about, the sacrifices right there. Not another offering and I don't have it. Oh, I'm not hearing y'all. Listen, listen, listen. I done sold and sold and sold and sold and sold, and I still don't have it. I done shouted and shouted and shouted and shouted and shouted, and I still don't have it. I done spoken tongues. I done ran around the church. I done been to all the revivals and all the prayer meetings. I still don't have it. Why? Proverbs 20:5 says, a plan, watch this, motive, wise counsel in the heart of a man is like water in a deep well. Yeah, stop there. He said stop there. A plan. Have I applied a plan to my prophecy? He said he was going to give me my own car dealership. Have I applied a plan to the prophecy? Okay. So I'm going to come on this side because y'all ain't saying nothing over there. Do I have a plan for this thing? I'm just going to stay right there for a minute. He going to do it. Where's the plan? He going to work it out. Where is the plan? He told me he's going to do it. He keep confirming it through people. But where is the plan? Okay, you said you got a plan? Okay. Then the next thing is, what is your motive? Because you got people that's believing God for prophecy just so they can throw a rock at people that thought that they wasn't going to make it. What is your motive? Do you want it so that you can be able to say, nah, y'all thought I wasn't going to do it. What is your motive? What do you want this for? What is the reason why you want God to bless you with this? A plan, a motive, wise counsel in the heart of man is like water in a deep well. Watch this. But a man of understanding draws it out. Okay. A man of understanding draws it out. How do I get understanding? Watch this. Now this gonna bless you. This gonna bless you so good. This gonna bless you so good. How do I get understanding? Because I'm trying to understand this thing. How do I get understanding? Well, in order to get understanding, you have to be in the presence, because the definition of the presence is understanding as well as the face of God. It's understanding and the will of God unto obedience to the knowledge that God has given you. I cannot get understanding outside of the presence of the Lord. I'm not, in other words, I gotta spend time with him, because it is in him is where I find understanding. I'm not hearing y'all. Who am I talking to? Because a lot of people say, I got understanding, but I beg to differ, because understanding will provoke you to divine obedience unto the will of God, which means you will begin to work that vision. Okay. I'm telling y'all, the devil don't want y'all to hear this. I said, he don't want you to hear this. He don't want you to hear it. No, he messing with everything tonight. He just got through shutting my ears down. He messing with everything tonight. He don't want you to get this, because he want us to keep shouting and jumping and speaking in tongues and running all around the church and not having anything. And that's why people are falling by the wayside, and people are leaving Christianity by the droves, because we're tired of getting high and not seeing anything. I'm not hearing y'all say nothing. I'm not hearing y'all say nothing. Okay. Watch this. Watch this. Turn it off and turn it back on. My ears are gone. I just said it. It said here, watch this. So if understanding comes from the presence of the Lord, then the next thing I am drawn to after I leave this presence is reflection, so that I can have reinterpretation. What am I saying? You have to come to the place where you have reinterpretation so that you can stop classifying the natural warfare behind a prophecy as trouble. Okay, I'm not. Did anybody just hear that? Did anybody just hear that? You have to stop. Watch this. You have to go back and reinterpret what you're walking with, because you shall have whatsoever you say. And if you keep calling the warfare of your prophecy trouble, then all you're going to keep getting is trouble. Okay. Did somebody just get that? Did somebody just get that? You're going to keep getting trouble because you don't have the proper interpretation, because you haven't spent time in the presence of the Lord. God, I just said something right there. I just said something right there. Because watch this, in the presence of the Lord is where I find his face. Oh God. And we are in his likeness, which means when I find his face, I find my identity in it. Do you not know there are people in this place right now that can't see yourself having it? Well, the Lord gonna bless you with this, because you got to understand something. Prophecy is always going to be beyond you. It's going to always be beyond how much money you got. It's going to always be beyond, I'm not hearing y'all, how much help you got, how much divine connection you got. I'm not hearing y'all. A prophecy comes with limitations from man. If you can't see where you are completely limited in what you can accomplish, it is not a prophecy from God. The prophecy from God is to make you feel hopeless and helpless because you need him to get to it. Okay. Somebody saying, you talking to me right now. I can't do it by myself. You can't do this one. Not this prophecy. You ain't got enough money for this prophecy. Yeah. God, I wish I had somebody say something, because no, I'm gonna say this. Like today, when the breakthrough came, I went upstairs from the meeting. The people flew in here. Pastor and I had the meeting. We got done with the meeting. Got done going over the contract. And I went upstairs. And I'm sitting in the chair. In less than 2 hours, the total provision for what I needed for this dream came in a phone call. See, y'all don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. You don't want to get this. What God needs you to do is get an understanding and start reinterpreting what you are. Wait. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Sit down. How many of y'all heard me say? How many of y'all heard me say when I was doing this studio? I said, this ain't it. Some of my family members are about, what you mean that ain't it? That thing is major. I said, this ain't it. Come on, somebody. Come on. Because in your own eyes, you can only see what you can comprehend. Because you're afraid to really comprehend what God is showing you, because you know you ain't got enough money for that. And that's too big. And many of you are missing the prophecy because you are afraid to receive the magnitude of it. I'm not hearing y'all say nothing back. You're too scared. Can I tell you why you're scared? David was not afraid of Goliath because he kept something bigger than Goliath in his vision. He worshiped God. So when he saw Goliath, he was a small thing. Oh my God. He said, my people can't receive it because they looking at each other. They looking at each other. So when something comes that big, they think that's big. That's why they got to stay in my sight so they can see me as bigger than their situation. So when I prophesied to them, they would understand God can do this. I know he can do this. So I didn't have enough money. One person said, oh, I'm going to finance that. And then he said, as a matter of fact, I'm at dinner with somebody right now that's a multi-millionaire. He said, hold on a minute. Let me put him on the phone with you. When he got him on the phone, he said, this is my friend, and I want you to finance this too. And he said, well, when can you come so we can lay out a plan? Because you ain't going to need no money. No, y'all ain't saying nothing. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Because, oh, Jesus, my God, we are afraid to possess the land. We are afraid. And that's why the enemy got you afraid. Because your divine connection is already waiting on you. And the engagement is a fixed time. And the enemy wants you to miss your timing. Watch this. He wants you to miss it by being afraid to move into it. I'm going to say that over here because y'all didn't hear me over there. If the Lord promised you something, go and look for it. See, y'all weak over here too. Let me come back over here. I'm going to keep on walking from one side to the other until I find a witness. I'm not hearing y'all. He didn't say you had to have money. He said, go look for it. Watch this. I remember. Sit down. Let me just say this. I remember. See, when I say reinterpretation. So about maybe the last, well, before 2 years ago, Mother Gathers, before 2015, from 2008 to 2015, I returned back into the religious circuit of how you serve God. Okay. Prior to that, my former life was a life of faith. Okay. I'm telling you, the devil don't want you to hear this. My sound just went out again. He don't want you to hear this. So back then, I was that kind of person that would do anything God told me. Anything. When I say anything, I mean anything. If the Lord told me to give somebody a car, it didn't matter. Matter of fact, I was shouting in church one Sunday, and I was dancing in church, and the power of God broke out, and the Lord said, get your car keys and dance over there and get that lady your car. I think my car was 10 months old, brand new off the parking lot. Wasn't no used car, it was a brand new car. So I grabbed my keys. I didn't even think a second thought about it, and I just started shouting. I ran across the church and ran over there to her, and I said, the Holy Ghost told me to give you this car. And she started shouting, and I said, okay. So people was like, you gave that car away and you ain't got no car. I said, I know. I said, but God is up to something. So about 7 months later, I was laying in the house, and the Lord said, get up. Today, I'm going to give you a Mercedes. I had a T-shirt on and some jeans. I got ready to get dressed. He said, I didn't say get dressed. I said, go now. So I had some slide-in shoes, and I just put the slide-in shoes on, and I went to the dealership, and I walked in the dealership, and I walked in there, and the car was on the showroom floor, and I walked over there, and I hit the car. I said, this is my car right here. The man walked over and said, ma'am, how can I help you? I said, this is my car. He said, this your car? I said, this your car. So he chuckled. He said, how do you know? I said, the Lord told me it was my car. And he looked at me like, okay, we got a crazy in here. We got a real crazy in here for real. I said, the Lord told me this is my car. He said, well, all right then. We're going to check your name. We're going to check your credit, all that. I said, okay. So I gave him all my information. He checked all my information. He came back. And he said, ma'am, he said, your credit score can't get this car. And I said, but I know, but the Lord told me it was my car. And he said, well, let me go back here and see what they say. So he came back. He said, well, you need $10,000 down. I said, okay. He said, so when you going to have it? I said, I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to be back to get the car tomorrow. I came back the next day. I didn't have the $10,000. He said, where's the $10,000? I said, I don't have it. I said, but if you let me take this car off this parking lot, I guarantee you in 1 week's time, God gonna send the money back. In 1 week's time, I went back to the dealership with the $10,000. No, you wait. Sit down. That ain't the testimony. Sit down. Sit down. That ain't the real testimony. That ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. I got the Mercedes. Had the Mercedes about a year, Pastor. And the Lord said to me, get that car to Dr. Johnson. And they said, you going to give another car away? I said, yeah. They said, why? Because Pastor Boyd taught me crazy faith. So when the Lord started talking, I don't question God. I just do it. And so I gave the Mercedes away. And I told her, I said, I'm going to pay your insurance for 2 years, too. You just take the car. Didn't have no car. Went down up in Jersey. I said, the Lord want me to get a limousine. So I went up there and I got a custom-made limousine, a $170,000 limousine. But by that time, the Lord was blessing me, so I paid cash for it. That's what I'm talking about. Because see, you graduate as you move in faith. I'm not hearing y'all talk to me. Some of y'all want God to give you millions, but you can't even. I'm not hearing y'all. Oh, come on, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Come on, remember what we said the other night. Recalibrate. You got to judge how you go up. I got the limousine, custom made, everything in it. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Pastor Boyd went to preach in Atlanta for Pastor Ripley. And I'm sitting in the church, and the Holy Ghost said, give this limousine to this church because they need it. And I said, well, all right, Jesus. I said, give it to this church. He said, give it to the church. And I said, well, how am I going to get back and forth to the airport? He said, in a cab, the same way you was all the time. And so when I, watch this, y'all, when I released the limousine, I had to go in the presence of the Lord, and I said, why, Lord, why are you doing this? Why are you giving me stuff and then making me give it away? He said, because I'm calling you to be a financier of the kingdom. I'm not hearing y'all. I'm calling you to be the provider. I'm calling you to be the blessing and not look for a blessing. I'm not hearing y'all. Who is God talking to? The reason why the body of Christ is not seeing millions because we don't have the power to release and recalibrate. Come on, somebody. Judge how I go up. Sit down. I'm not through. That's not the testimony. That's not the testimony. That's not the testimony. That was a process. The process to the prophecy. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Sometimes you got to do crazy stuff to get to the prophecy. Sometimes you got to do stuff that people don't understand why you're doing it. When I got ready to get the Rolls Royce, I went to the dealership. And God said to me after church one Sunday, he said, go. And I went. And he said, when you get there, I want you to prophesy to that car. I said, okay, Lord. So I got there and I stood in front of the window. And I said, Lord, the cameras is on. Because the people got cameras on. He said, I said, point your finger and prophesy to this car. Yeah, y'all. And I stood out there and I said, let me tell you something. I said, in the mighty name of Jesus, you coming out of that showroom floor and you coming into my life. Watch this. And I said, the reason why I know you going to do it because I done already sold for you. You don't hear me. You don't hear me. I done already gave seed for you. The way is already made. Come on, somebody. I done already hooked you. And I'm standing out there and I'm prophesying to the car. Pastor, tell you. So when I went to finally get the car, watch this, y'all. The people said, oh, ma'am, you can't get that car. They said, that car's on a 4-year back order. I said, oh, wow. They said, you want a black on black Rolls Royce. That's a 4 or 5 year back order. I said, okay. I said, the pastor, I said, well, they said it's a 4 or 5 year back order. Pastor Boyd said, did the Lord say you could have the car? I said, yes, sir. He said, we're going to call that car in. I said, okay. A couple of weeks went by, the people called me, pastor will tell you. I ran to him. I said, Pastor, the people on the phone, they said that an Italian man ordered this car. And all of a sudden, he changed his mind. And the car just came off of the ship in Jersey. And if I come up there right now, I can get the car. They won't even send it to a dealership. I said, Pastor, go with me. When Pastor went with me, I got in the car. And Pastor got in the car. And I looked at Pastor. At the time, he was my brother. I said, do you think I'm ready for this? He said, I think you're ready. I said, are you sure I'm ready? I said, because I don't want pride and arrogance to jump me. Are you sure I'm ready? He said, I think you're ready. He said, you done so. We drove off that warehouse with that car that they said I would. Y'all ain't hear me. hearing me? Who am I talking to? That's the reason why you don't see me shaking now. Because the same God that did it back then is the same God that's going to do it again. God, I just heard that. He about to do it again. You better praise him. I said he about to do it again. This is how you get to the prophecy. You act like you already got it right now. God, I wish I had somebody in here that felt like praising God. I said you act like you got it right now. Y'all, sit down for a second. I ain't finished. Oh, God, y'all better sit down. Sit down, y'all. Sit down. Jesus, have mercy. Have mercy. Have mercy. Oh, Shakamoseye. Reinterpret. Reinterpret. Hey, you right at the door of it. That's why it's rough. That's why it's hard. That's why the devil fighting you. That's why you got warfare. Because that thing is about to break forth. I wish I had somebody to give God a praise up in here. Wait a minute, that ain't the real testimony. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Good Lord, have mercy. Sit down. It says that you are at the stage of reflection. Because the enemy wants you to forget. When you in a hard place, he wants you to forget what God did for you. I can't get nobody to say nothing right there. Is there anybody in this place tonight that can remember when God did something for you that only God could have ever done? He said, I want you to go back and I want you to get that remembrance of God, because watch this, that means you already built in the inside to produce miracles. That thing is in you. That's why the devil is fighting you. Sit down, I got to tell you this. It's already in you. If you've ever done it, it's already in you. I can't get nobody to say nothing. I said, if you've ever had one, it's already in you. If God has ever given you one, it's already in you. You got the potential to produce it again. Watch this. Y'all sit down. Y'all sit down. Y'all sit down. God, I feel the Holy Ghost in here. I feel the Holy Ghost in here. Because you walking around here like, well, I don't know. I don't know if he going to do it. No, he done did it before. Yeah, he done. Y'all. So he came, every area of my life. Every area of my life, I done walked it out. Every area of my life, I done walked it out. I done walked it out. When I got ready to get my house, Pastor tell you. He said, well, no. You gonna get this house? I said, yeah, I want this house. They come back and they said, well, we don't know if you can get it. He said, you're gonna need $25,000 down to get this house. And I said, okay, y'all, let me tell you something, God is good. I said, okay, I need $25,000 down. So Pastor Boyd, we was preparing to come in this church. We was getting ready to move in this church. And so Pastor Boyd said, I want all the members that lined up. He said, Pastor's going to give everybody an envelope. And he said, when you get to the envelope, he said, Pastor want every member to sow $1,000 in the next 30 to 45 days, because we're going to need to move into this building. So the music started and everybody lined up. Dr. Morgan came back there, he can tell you, they all lined up and everybody was coming down the aisle. They was, because they had that music on that make everybody do this. And everybody was coming on down the aisle. And when they got to me, Pastor said, hold the music. I said, I don't get no music. He said, hold the music. He said, little lady, he said, the Lord told me to tell you that if you give what's on this piece of paper, the Lord gonna bless you. I said, okay, Pastor. So he got somebody to give him a pen. He wrote on a piece of paper. They started the music back up. And I just walked on the way from him and got back in the music until I looked on the back of the envelope and it said $25,000, and I stopped. I said, wait a minute, something wrong. Pastor done Pastor done lost his mind because the only $25,000 I know I got, I'm getting ready to go to close next week. So I know God ain't telling me to give that $25,000. Do you not know that I went to a revival that weekend and I got a phone call from the people that said your deal fell through. The lady changed her mind. They don't want to give you the house. And the Lord said to me, if I don't get a house, you don't get a house. I don't hear y'all talking back to me. I got on that plane. Pastor can tell you, I ran in Pastor Boyd's office. I slapped that $25,000 down. I said, Pastor, I'm sorry because my deal just fell through. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Who am I talking to? But how many of y'all know that God turned it around? And when I moved in, I only needed $6,000. I didn't even need $25,000. I can't get y'all to say nothing. I can't get y'all to say nothing. I can't get y'all to say nothing. And then watch this. See, that's the reason why in a lot of areas, you know, my feelings was hurt and stuff like that through my process. But I ain't never doubted what God was going to do. Not once. I'm not hearing y'all. I'm not hearing y'all. So when I got to the place and they said, well, you done lost the house. And I said, okay. So they locked me out, put a padlock on the door. And the house I'm in right now, they put a padlock on the door. And they said, you out the house. I said, okay. And so I went on back to Atlanta and I started sleeping on my sister's couch. I said, it's okay. You know, they done took the house. So the Lord told me, he said, I want you to come and run a revival. And I was at Bishop Wilson's running a revival. The Lord said, I want you to stay in the church for 3 days. I said, you don't need to give me no hotel. The Lord told me just to come and just preach. When I got through preaching, the Lord said to me, I want you to leave all the offering. I don't want you to take no offering. I said, okay, Lord. So that the last night of the revival, he said, send somebody to your house. So I told my assistant, I said, go to my house. And when you get there, call me. She said, what I'm going for? I said, I don't know. I said, the Lord just told me to tell you to go. You know, that's what's wrong with us. We're too nosy. So God tell you to do something, you just do it. You always want to know everything. You ain't going to know everything because you don't know what he's doing. And he said, go. So she gets there, she called me, she said, well, I'm looking around and I don't see nothing. I said, is the padlock on the door? She said, yeah. I said, shake it. She said, it's locked. I said, okay. I said, well, come on back. She headed down the sidewalk. She said, wait a minute. I see a silver key laying down here on the ground. I said, that's the key that the angel left. I said, pick it up. She said, what? I said, pick it up. I said, put it in the lock. It's going to open the door. She put it in the lock. And the lock popped open. I said, but don't go in yet. Give me the number on the back of the lock. I called the lady. I said, ma'am, I'm calling about 15 Astor Court. And I want you to know that I'm getting ready to go in my house. She said, ma'am, that's impossible. She said, first of all, they have to sign off on the house. Second of all, watch this. You need $75,000 to go in. She said, and third of all, I don't know how you got a key. I said, but I'm telling you right now, my door is open and I got a key. She said, but all I can tell you, just go on in until they put you out. No, you listen. But the Bible said, watch this, he will give you whatever the soles of your feet shall tread upon. Who is God talking to? That's why you got to go walk on it. That's why you got to go sit in it. That's why you got to go test drive it. Wait, sit down. Sit down. That ain't the testimony. Sit down. Sit down. Tell me I believe God. You ain't never sat in it. Tell me I believe God. Go test drive it. Tell me I believe God. Go and ask the people to let you walk in it. I'm not hearing y'all talk to me. He said, I promise you that the soles of your feet is what's going to get it for you. Watch this. Watch this. I'm getting there. So I'm in the house. And I'm in the house. I'm telling you, the devil don't like this. It went out again. So I'm in the house. And then they send me the letters. And they said, ma'am, you need, this was First of all, some of y'all got to stop, because you sitting up in the temple. I don't know. I lived in my house for 3 years. When I say God he have to give you a reinterpretation. Now, one interpretation is they about to put me out. The other interpretation is I'm living rent free. Okay. I can't get y'all to say nothing right there. I can't get nobody to say nothing. And I said, God, I'm getting ready to come with you. So the people said, you're going to need $125,000 in order to get back in your house. And I said, okay. Okay. And the devil said, now, where you going to get that kind of money from? And I said to the devil, you trying to make me count so I can't count on God. I'm not hearing y'all talk to me up in here. Who is God talking to? When you start all that foolishness and all that counting, you're going to get to a point that you ain't going to be able to count on God. So I said, okay, God. He said, I want you to go over here to Florida and I want you to preach. And so during that time, that was that time when God, during a season I went through, the reason why the miracle showed up in this room today is because I went through that season of the last 4 years. Just about everywhere I preach, the Lord would say, give them the offering. I'm not hearing y'all. I'm not hearing y'all. Ain't nobody saying nothing. He said, give them the offering. Because you got to get to a point that money ain't everything. Come on here, somebody. You got to get to a point that you know you're in the will of God. And you know you're doing the will of God. And when your spirit has a spirit of replenishing in it, then you're not afraid to release nothing, because you already know you know how to get it again. Okay, wait a minute. So here I am. I'm preaching. And the devil's saying to me, now wait a minute. Now, if you preach like tonight, he said, if you preach and then you go to that revival and they give you 20,000 and then you line up all your meetings, by the time you get to this revival, you will have enough money to get your house back. So then over here, this church is going through something, and I don't know nothing about what they're going through, and God said, they need this offering, don't take it. And the devil's saying, but you got to take it, because you got to collect the money, because they're giving you a certain amount of time. And you're gonna lose it if you don't do the hustle. And so y'all ain't saying nothing. I can't get nobody to talk to me. If you don't go over here and just line all your meetings up right, and then if you get up and then you ask everybody to give $1,000, it's about, okay, if 30 people give it, that's 30,000. And then, come on, somebody, I'm talking up in here. I'm talking real good right now. And God said to me, you're not trusting me. You're hustling. You're not trusting me. Come on, somebody. You've been a drug dealer in the house of God. I'm not hearing y'all talk to me. Y'all ain't saying nothing. And God started dealing with me. He said, if you're going to come back into the miraculous the way you used to operate, you got to start doing what you used to do. You got to start releasing ridiculous stuff. You got to start doing stuff that don't make no sense. I'm not hearing y'all. I walked in this church with holes in my shoes and the most raggediest car in this building, but look at what God did for me. And it was because I was not afraid to release and trust God. I'm not hearing y'all. Who is God preaching to right now? He said, go back and get who you are. And anybody that's watching by Facebook can tell you. I go to church after church after church. And I said, you can take the money. They said, well, the offering was $45,000. I said, God told me don't take nothing. Well, the offering is $32,000. God told me don't take nothing. Offering is $18,000. God told me don't take nothing. So everybody said, well, why you ain't taking that? And then I had to tell everybody that worked for me. I said, either you on faith or you in fear. And if you in fear, you can't work for me, because some days you ain't going to get no check. I'm not hearing y'all talk back to me. There's going to be some days you're not going to get no check. And what that's going to do is that's going to provoke you to fast and pray along with me and know what the will of the Lord is. I'm not hearing y'all. I couldn't have got that miracle today except I walked the way that God told me to walk. Who am I talking to? So I said, okay. I'm giving. No offerings. God kept making. This is how he made a way. Well, how did he make a way? Because I would be driving down the street and I would say, okay, God, all these bills is due. Bzz. The lady just called from London and said the Lord woke up and told her, why are you $10,000? And he said, I didn't tell you to hustle. I said, I shall supply all. The reason why you can't get your needs met and supplied, because you will not meet the need of the kingdom. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I'm going to look upside the wall right now. Because we done, listen, we're not even a faith generation anymore. God said to me, don't you become ruined and tainted by this new wave of the generation. I done told you that I have anointed you. I have anointed you to walk in faith. Who am I talking to? And anything you're going to get it because you learn how to trust me when you can't trace me. I said, okay. So I goes to Florida, and he said, go preach. And the people tells me, you got 10 days to be at your house. So, okay. I go to Florida and I preach. I get through preaching. I'm there for 4 days. Major ministry. Get through, and the offering is $87,000. So they said, your offering is 50-something. They was going to give me $50-something. I said, the Lord told me, don't take, and I paused because I wanted to say, well, maybe I can just take like $5,000 and just pay a few bills. And then I switched myself over and went into the wisdom mode where you got to use wisdom. Wisdom and faith don't mix, people. I want to tell y'all. You got to use wisdom now. You just take 5,000 and then you can just pay a few bills. And then you still giving them a big offering. And then God said to me, they can't even take you to the airport. He said, I don't want them to buy you a cup of coffee. I don't want you to take nothing from this church. And I laid in that church, and the air conditioning was broken. It was in the summertime, and God wouldn't let me go to a hotel. I was hot. I was miserable. He wouldn't let me put a mattress on the pulpit. My legs was hurting. My back was hurting. And I was getting up preaching. I said, God, I don't know. And so about 3 or 4 rows on the end aisle, it was 2 white ladies sitting there every night. And, and they must have got there early because they was in the same seat. And this was a big church, and it was packed. And they were sitting there. And so the revival ended, and I went on home. And when you're on the plane and you start feeling like, I know what I'm facing, and I don't know what I'm going to do, and all of that stuff is on your head. And I said, but God, I know that I trusted you. I know that I heard from you. And so watch this. And so a week later, somebody called the office, and they said, well, is this the office of Juanita Bynum? My secretary said, yeah. She said, the Juanita Bynum that was just preaching in Florida. And they said, yeah. And the lady gave her name, and she said, I'm the manager of the loan department. She said, and does Juanita Bynum live at this address? And she said, yeah. She said, well, her paperwork just came on my desk, and I'm supposed to sell her house. But you tell the woman of God, I'm doing a reverse thing, and I'm giving it back to her. No, y'all don't hear me. And watch this. And they said, and she was supposed to pay $125,000. Tell her that I'm writing that off as a loss, and tell her to be blessed because she blessed us. Oh, come on here, somebody. Listen, you don't know what God is doing. And the problem with this generation, you keep trying to figure God out, and God is trying to teach you how to walk by faith and not by sight. I'm not hearing y'all. Listen, the more difficult the situation look, that's the one that's going to be the miracle. I wish I had somebody to say something right now. I said it's supposed to look hard, because if it doesn't, then man can do it. It's supposed to look like can't nobody help me but God. I ain't hearing y'all. The process to the prophecy. Wait a minute. I'm talking about, Pastor can tell you that this is the honest to God's truth. I'm talking about down to days that I said, Lord, I don't have no money. And he said, go to the cash machine. He said, put your card in. I put my card in. He said, ask it for a balance. Pastor, remember that day I called? He said, 0. I said 0. He said, now ask it for $20. See, there y'all go. Well, this zip, I just, $20. Out came $20. He said, ask it for 20 more. He said, now ask it for a balance. 0. He said, how much you need? I said, I need 300 more. He said, ask it. He said, don't you know I control everything? Okay, y'all, I can't get y'all. I can't get y'all to see. Don't you know I control everything? Don't you know I can speak to machines? I'm not hearing y'all. Don't you know that the very people that's done told you no, I can put them to sleep tonight and make them wake up, and they tell you they don't know why they doing it, and they not to. Yes, Lord. I just heard the Holy Ghost said in this building tonight, and those that are watching by television, everybody that was faithful to these messages, what you're going to hear for the rest of the year is, I'm not supposed to do this. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I got to do it for you. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I got to do it for you. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm not supposed to do this, but God said, favor just hit this house. God said, favor just hit this revival. God said, favor because you chose to believe me. Come on, come on. No, you don't hear that. Wait, hold it, stop. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down for a second. See, let me tell y'all what some of y'all problems are. Some of y'all problems is that you trying to figure out, and you think you got a method, but God is not coming in that direction. Okay, it's going to come through people you ain't never met. I'm not hearing y'all talk to me. It's going to come through unconventional measures. I'm not hearing y'all talk to me. Okay. I'm going to give you this word, and I'm closing. One person got your miracle. Okay, wait. I can't get you to see this, and I'm not going to try. I'm just giving you what he said. He said, while you looking around, you are about to praise upon one person. What happened for me today, the man said it don't normally happen, especially for a black woman. You don't hear what I'm saying. He said this right here is very unusual. He said, but I've been watching you for a while, and I'm here to tell you that it is your time. Now, what am I saying? For that to happen in this building, and you standing in this building, you're not going to tell me. I'm telling you that God is working a miracle with your name on it right now. I don't hear y'all. Sit down. Sit down. I got to tell you this. Turn the key. Sit down. Sit down for a second. Sit down for a second. Hold the music. Sit down for a second. Sit down for a second. Oh, shadaboho setaye. Ashadabahasataya. I can't get nobody to see this tonight. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. When the Lord gave me the vision, I said, I want to build a studio. And the devil said, you got to save your money. And I said, no, I don't have to save my money. I need to sow my money. I don't need to. When I wanted to go on television back in the day, Pastor can tell you, and They would say to me, we ain't got no spots open for you. We ain't got no spots open for you. We ain't got no spots open for you. I went to a meeting. A major preacher came in town, and God told me to go. He told me to go, and I went. And while I was sitting there, you remember that? The Lord said, write a check. And he said, I want you to write the check. He said, and when the Spirit of the Lord get high in this building, he said, I'm going to tell you how much to write the check for. He said, and I want you to run up there and put it in the man of God's hand. And I said, okay, God. So I'm sitting on the front row, because they ushered me on the front row. And the Spirit of the Lord got high. And the Lord said, write a check for $25,000. And I wrote the check. I think when I got through writing the check, I had maybe $1,000 left. And when the man of God stretched back and he was praising God, his Bible was open. I ran up there and I slapped it down on his Bible. 2 weeks later, they said, a door just came open. Somebody just canceled. And we're going to put you on TV. Yo. Wait a minute. So when I wanted this studio, I started doubting God. He said, didn't I put you on TV? Didn't I put you on television? Didn't I do everything? Listen, television is your destiny. You ain't asking me to do something that's not your destiny. Didn't I do that for you before? Yes, Lord. Well, just believe me. Just believe me. And I was sitting in this room one Sunday, I never forget it. And right over there, and there was a black curtain, and pastor was preaching. And I looked up, and I saw this open vision right here. And I said, this the studio. And the devil said, listen. Junk all behind there, and the carpet all stained up. And I saw it. I was scared to tell anybody what I saw, because I said, people are going to think I'm crazy. He said, no, I'm returning you back to your old faith. I'm returning you back to believing God the way you used to believe God. Y'all ain't saying nothing up in here. And I said, God, I believe it. I believe it. And I got up and I just started dancing. I said, I believe you. I believe you. And I went to Pastor. I said, Pastor, I want to turn this into a studio. Pastor said, excuse me? He said, Juanita, if you want a studio, let me help you find. Didn't you say that? Let me help you find something out there. I know some people that's in real estate, because you don't want that old hot, musty room and all that junk in there. I know my friends can find. I said, but God said that the studio was right here. He said, no, I just think maybe we should just look before you make that decision. But when I decided, I didn't have one dime. When I decided, I didn't have no money. You don't hear me? When I decided, I didn't have $5,000 in my pocket. But God found somebody to give me $300,000. One person. I'm not hearing y'all. Then the pipes burst. But had I not believed God for this building, where would we have had church? Wait a minute. Your miracle is connected to something else. That's why God got to do it for you. Because it's not just about you. It's connected to something else that's bigger than you. And when the people came and said, oh, we want to do this for you, I blew them off at first. I was like, nah, they ain't going to get me up like that. I went to Pastor. I said, Pastor, this is what these people say. He said, is you sure? I said, that's what he said. He said, well, let me get the man on the phone. Let me talk to this man. Now, sir, explain to me what it is you want to give her. Well, I want to do da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Pastor said, da-da-da-da-da-da. He said, yeah. Like, why? I've just been watching her. I've been watching her, and I know that I wanted to do this with other people, and they were men, but God said her. He said, and I took the deals off the table from them, and I'm coming to you all and asking your permission to let me do this for her. So the contract came over, and Pastor took the contract, and he just, and he sent it back, and he said, if they agree to all this, I know this is God. They come back, and what, Pastor? Everything that was on our list, Y'all ain't saying nothing. And they sat there today and said, congratulations. See, let me tell you something. I'm about to have more money than, okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there because I'm going to tell you something. Now, watch this. Not because I begged and borrowed, but because I learned how to trust God. Watch this. During the roughest season of my life, I never stopped sowing. During the roughest season of my life, I gave my biggest seeds. Who am I talking about? Oh, God, I wish somebody would say something up in here. Who is God talking to right now? You don't know the secret and the mystery to getting a miracle. It's not what you can hold on to. It's when the presence is in the room and God said release. That's what you do. I'm not. I know you listening to me preach. That's why you ain't helping me play. He said when I say release, that's what I mean. Something hit my spirit today. I told Pastor the other day, I said, Pastor, I'm not doing this because I want no offering from you. I said, there's something that God is doing in this building. And I know it. Come on. I know it. It's something that God is doing in this building. This ain't about me. Lord have mercy. There's 12 people in this room. I'm telling you, it ain't about me. It ain't about me. I don't want no offering. I can't even hardly remember the last time I preached and took one. I don't want no offering. I'm not asking. But that ain't about me. God said it's the process to the prophecy. There's 12 people in this building that God is talking to. When it's not about the preacher and it's not about the prophet, then who is it about? Give me 12 envelopes. There's 12 people in this building that God said, I'm getting ready to do something supernatural. I'm getting ready to do something supernatural. It ain't about Juanita Bynum. This one right here is strictly on God. He said there's 12 people in this building. I'm calling you to the $1,019 seed. Because this time, it's the process to the prophecy. I know what I'm talking about. I sowed until I couldn't sow no more. God built it, and then the door opened. A grand door. A grand door. More money than I've ever made in my lifetime is getting ready to come into my hands. And it all happened right here on this floor. I'm going to say that again. More money than I've ever had in my... Wait a minute, let me just say this to you. When I say that, I had property in Georgia. Oh, God. 12 acres of land, 13 acres of lakefront. My mortgage was $28,000 a month, and I never missed not one time. Was never late, and it was like paying $200 a month. My yard, where they used to clean my yard, was $5,200 a month to cut my land and trim my trees. That's not utilities, that's not cars, that's not houses, that's not me taking care of my parents, that's not me going on shopping sprees. That's just a mortgage, $28,000 a month. And what God said to me today is, you about to have more money than you've ever seen. I never doubted God. And he gave me a scripture in the book of Jeremiah. And I prophesied this so that everybody can hear it, because that's just how sure I am. He said all land will be reversed back in your hands. Okay. I'm saying it so that everybody can hear me prophesy. He said it all is coming back in your hands. I'm going to put the property back in your hands. If you would sow into this ministry, I'm going to put the property back place. He said, come now. Come now. 10 more people in this place. He said, come now. This ain't about me. This ain't about me. $1,000 ain't nothing in comparison to what God's about to do in your life. There's 5 more people in this building. I'm telling you, we sitting in something. You watching by internet. You better obey God, because he's taking you someplace you ain't never been. He calling you to the $1,000 seed. There's 12 of you all sitting out there. You better obey him. You better obey him. There's 2 more people in this building. It's not about me. It's not about me. How many times do the people preach and say, it's not about me? Somebody in this building better obey God. Somebody worship him. Somebody worship him. Somebody worship him. Give me some envelopes. Every person in this building, I'm telling you, it's prophetic tonight. That's got a 119 seed on you. I don't care if you gave it 2 nights before. Run right now and get this envelope out of my hand. I'm telling you, something is in this building tonight. It's in this building tonight. You watching by internet. God was talking to you. He's talking to you. 12 of you out there. He's talking to you. You can't get it back by giving God $5. You got to offer up a sacrifice. Oh, somebody give God praise up in this place. Somebody give God praise up in this place. Somebody give God praise up in this place. Somebody give God praise in this place. Somebody give God praise in this place. In order to get something you ain't never had, you better do something that you ain't never done. You in this place, come and give God the biggest seed you can give him. You said, Dr. Bynum, I don't have 119. Come and get this envelope out of my hand. It ain't about me. You watching by internet. God is doing something supernatural. He said there are 12 of you that are watching right now. I'm doing a divine reversal right now. I'm calling you to the $1,019 seed. Yes, Lord Jesus. Turn the house up. Yes, Lord. 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 Give me some more envelopes. The year of release. The year of release. You got to give this year like you've never given before. You got to give this year like you have never given before. It's not about money. It's about divine reversal. It's about walking in the faith of God. It went out. It's about divine reversal. It's about divine reversal. It's about divine reversal. It's about divine reversal. Yes, Lord Jesus. Yes, Lord Jesus. Yes, Lord Jesus. Something very sober in the atmosphere. I feel it. There's something very sober in this atmosphere. Go get it. There's something very sober in this atmosphere. Come on. There's something very sober in this atmosphere. Tonight is a sobering night. Tonight is a sobering night. Tonight is a sobering night. I feel it. Oh my God, you're watching by internet. I'm telling you, there's a soberness in this atmosphere. My God, I feel it. Pastor, I feel it. There's something very weighty sitting in here tonight, because this ain't game. This is a sure process to the prophecy. I could feel it. I could feel it. I can feel it. It's a true prophecy to the process. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I got it on 10. I don't know what to say. It's on you. Something very sobering in this place. Something very sobering in this place. Something very sobering in this place. We don't have to do nothing to fix it. I feel it. I don't know what to tell you on internet, but I feel something very sobering in here about this. There's an unusual presence in this place. It's the process to the prophecy. Be obedient and obey God. I feel something. It's just here. Hit that contact us button and obey God. He said 12 of you that are sitting out there, obey him. Obey him. This is it. This is it. I gotta go. I don't know what to say. Yes, come on, come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. God bless you. I pray that this revival has been a blessing in your life. Go to my website and you're going to get the free downloads of every night. Somebody was saying we ought to package this. It's yours. It's yours for free. No money. No money. Just go to JuanitaBynum.com and you can download the messages for free. Thank you, Jesus. 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 I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Pastor, come on, sweetie.